The rhythmic, hollow thump of a pressurized gas main was the only warning before the gala turned into a death trap. Amidst the chaos of the Grand Theater, Detective Sterling viciously shoved 10-year-old Malik, pinning him against the cold leather interior of a Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing. "I don't care about your science project. Kid, this is a police evacuation and you're in my way." Sterling's voice was a jagged shard of ego. Malik, a boy of dark complexion whose mind functioned like an advanced munition scanner, didn't flinch. He looked at the detective with a terrifying, absolute calm. "Detective, you're looking for a suspect, but the bomb is already under your feet, and the only person who can stabilize the liquid explosive is the kid you just assaulted." The high-pitched, digital whine of an activating timer signaled the end of Sterling's arrogance. The city's elite gathered under the crystal chandeliers of the Grand Theater, unaware that the building was breathing on borrowed time. Outside, idling with a quiet growl of a predator, was a Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing, its matte black finish absorbing the city lights. Malik, 10, sat in the passenger seat, his eyes locked on a thermal imaging tablet synced to the theater's HVAC system. This car was his father's pride, but today, its advanced electrical subsystems were the only tools Malik had to track a silent killer. Malik was a structural and chemical savant. His mother was a lead demolition expert for the city, and Malik had spent his weekends learning the language of wires and triggers. He wasn't the gala for the music. He was there because he had detected an anomalous surge in the theater's basement sensors from 3 blocks away. "Dad, it's not a gas leak," Malik said, his voice a steady, disciplined baritone. "The thermal signature is concentrated. It's a secondary stage binary explosive. The heat is coming from a microbattery." Before his father could alert the usher, Detective Sterling, a man who viewed himself as the city's greatest investigator and everyone of dark complexion as a suspicious element, intercepted them. "Empty your pockets." Sterling barked, his hand resting on his holster as he loomed over the Cadillac. "We've had reports of a tech thief in the area. I bet this car is a rolling chop shop." "Detective, the car is legal," Malik stated, stepping out with his tablet, "but the theater isn't safe. There's a device in the ventilation shaft near Pylon 3. You need to evacuate the VIP wing immediately." Sterling laughed, a dry, mocking sound. "I don't need a child with a tablet telling me how to secure a building. In this precinct, my gut is the law. Now, move along before I arrest you for inciting a panic." Malik moved to show the detective the localized heat map of the trigger, but Sterling wanted a display of absolute dominance. The detective reached out and forcefully gripped Malik's forearm, twisting it as he shoved the boy toward the Cadillac's door. The physical violation was shocking. Sterling pinned Malik against the Cadillac's window, his heavy hand pressing firmly against the boy's chest, the metal of the detective's badge cold against Malik's cheek. "I said keep your mouth shut." Sterling hissed, his face contorted in a sneer. "You think because you have a fancy car and some gadgets you're smarter than a 20-year veteran? You're a suspect. You're a child. And right now, you're interfering with a police operation." Malik suffered the physical contact with stoic, terrifying dignity. He felt the vibration of the Blackwing's engine against his back. "Detective Sterling, you are currently committing a physical assault and ignoring a Class A explosive threat. I suggest you remove your hand before the mercury switch settles and levels this entire block." Sterling didn't listen. He ratcheted the pressure on Malik's shoulder, shoving him toward the pavement. "The only thing leveling is your ego." He forcefully shoved Malik, nearly causing the boy to fall into the path of a responding patrol car. The tension in the plaza was suffocating. Sterling's partner, Officer Sarah, stared at her own radio, her face turning a ghostly shade of white as the theater security team reported a suspicious package found in the exact location Malik had pointed out. "Sterling, stop. The bomb squad is 20 minutes out, but the timer, it just started," Sarah whispered, her voice trembling. "Not now, Sarah. I'm handling a non-compliant juvenile." Sterling lied, his arrogance forcing him to double down as he tried to grab Malik's tablet to prove it was stolen property. A stagehand, Leo, who had been helping with the gala, ran out of the theater screaming, "Detective, the device is ticking. It's right under the gas main. We can't wait for the squad." Sterling turned on the stagehand, pointing his finger aggressively. "Get back and wait for the experts. I'm in charge here." Sterling's refusal to listen to anyone high or low status, created a pressure cooker of impending catastrophe. Malik, standing by the open door of the Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing, used the car's high-gain antenna to override the theater's PA system. Detective Sterling, the timer is linked to the building's Wi-Fi. I've already isolated the frequency. If you don't let me through, that building falls in 4 minutes. Sterling just mocked him. You're a kid with a hobby. I am the law. The suspense reached a fever pitch as the muffled beep 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 of the device echoed to the theater's vents, audible even on the street. Panic erupted. The elite guests scrambled for the exits, but Sterling stood his ground, refusing to admit he had missed the obvious threat. Suddenly, the ground gave a sickening thud. It wasn't an explosion yet, but a pressure release from the gas lines. The theater was a ticking bomb, and the experts were still miles away. The building is going to blow. Sarah screamed. Sterling, get out of the way. The flow shifted from a traffic stop to a survival crisis. Sterling panicked. He tried to run toward the theater, but he had no idea what he was looking for. He was paralyzed, his authority useless against a chemical trigger. Malik didn't run away. He grabbed a toolkit from the Cadillac's trunk. Dad, link the car's processor to the building server. I need to jam the mercury switch with a static pulse. Malik sprinted toward the theater, not as a child, but as the only person with the data to save the city. Just before the shocking reveal, we want to take a quick moment to thank you for your support, love, and kindness. We wouldn't have come this far without you. Subscribing is one of the best ways you can help us. It's quick, free, and allows us to continue to bring you great content. Your support means everything. Let's keep this channel growing collectively. Where are you watching from? Drop your city and country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's get back to the story. Malik reached the service panel. He didn't use force. He used the precision of a surgeon. He bypassed a detective, who was still trying to command the scene, and slid a specialized copper probe into the trigger mechanism. Detective Sterling, Malik said, his voice a razor-sharp blade of authority over the theater speakers. I didn't find a bomb. I've been tracking the signature since I got out of the car. I just sent the video of you assaulting me to the police commissioner. He turned his gaze to the sweating Sterling. Detective, Malik said quietly, I am the one holding this building together right now. Get your hands off your holster and start clearing the blast radius. You are no longer in charge of the scene. The silence in the grand lobby was so thick it felt heavy. Detective Sterling stood frozen, his hand still clutching the badge he had used to intimidate a 10-year-old. He watched as Malik, the kid with a hobby, calmly clipped the final trigger wire, turning the bomb's digital timer into a series of zeros. The suspect he had pinned against a Cadillac was now revealed to be the only person on the planet capable of disarming a new-gen liquid explosive. Sterling, you spent so much time trying to bully a child that you forgot to look at the chemistry of the threat, Malik said. I didn't just disarm it. I used the Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing's onboard computer to trace the detonator back to the real perpetrator. He's in the black sedan 3 blocks away. My father is already on the phone with the SWAT team. The power shift was absolute. The nuisance was revealed to be a national asset. The police commissioner arrived by armored SUV and walked straight past Sterling to thank Malik. The truth reveal was a career execution. Sterling had triggered his own downfall by assaulting a minor who was under protection of the very department he worked for. Commissioner, Malik, I was just following protocol. The area was unsecure. Sterling pleaded, his voice cracking as he saw the elite guests of the gala recording his cowardice on their phones. We just did check the protocol, Sterling, the commissioner replied, his voice a calm, sharp blade. And the protocol for assaulting the person who saved the city is immediate termination and criminal charges. You told Malik you were the law here. Well, the law just took your badge. The commissioner signaled to the internal affairs officers, the men Sterling had spent his life avoiding. Gentlemen, the commissioner said, Detective Sterling is no longer fit to protect the city. Please remove his badge and his weapon. Specifically, before the press in the lobby gets a photo of a fraud in handcuffs. He's no longer an employee of this department. In front of the gala guests and his partner Sarah, Sterling was forced to stand as his badge was stripped from his chest. He was escorted out of the theater he had nearly allowed to burn, walking past the rows of people who were cheering for Malik. The public shaming was total. By the time he reached the sidewalk, his legendary detective status was being scrubbed from every database in the country. Malik didn't just save a building. He changed the way the city looked at its youth. Under his guidance, the department created a genius outreach program, ensuring that kids of dark complexion with exceptional minds would be supported, not suppressed. Malik used the reward money to build a community tech lab, proving that the greatest weapons against chaos aren't badges or guns, but data and discipline. The moral resolution saw the theater reopen with Malik's name on the security wing. He became a symbol of ancient wisdom in a young body, a boy who proved that the truth doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. Detective Sterling, once the king of the precinct, was relegated to a footnote in criminal history, a man who lost his entire life because he couldn't control his bias against a 10-year-old who knew exactly how to stop the world from exploding. True authority isn't about the power to shove, it's about the power to solve. When you treat someone with disrespect based on their age or their appearance, you are blinding yourself to the very genius that could save your life. Arrogance is a fuse that always leads to your own destruction. The sharpest minds often come in the smallest packages.